Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you to our webinar today, and our topic is lead versus manage. My name is Barb Bruno, and I do these live webinars for my tutor clients. And what we've decided to do is share the type of training that we present for our tutor clients to give other people an example of the type of training that we do provide for our tutor clients. The webinar that I'm doing today, Lead versus Manage, was actually given to me by one of our tutor clients. I do live calls, but these live calls are always on topics that are most important to the individuals that invest in our tutors, which are web-based training programs that give you a consistent, turnkey, comprehensive training program, whether you're a staffing and recruiting firm or whether you're talent acquisition professional or human resource professional, in-house recruiter. We have training programs for anyone involved in the recruiting process. But this program is going to focus on leadership. People will follow a strong leader, but often resent a strong manager. And so whenever I'm doing any training for individuals that have a management title, what I basically suggest is that they view themselves as a manager, because all too often individuals that excel are promoted into management, but they're not given much formal training. And so they often struggle as a manager versus elevating themselves into a position of leadership, where they can inspire the individuals that work for them. Starting today, I would like all of you, any of you that are in management, or maybe you're aspiring to become a manager for your company, I want to view yourself as someone who wants to develop leadership skills, who has the future of your company in your capable hands. Because those of you that are involved in recruiting, what you do for a living is such an important responsibility, because you basically help individuals advance in their career. Well, at the same time, you're helping companies achieve their goals, because people, I always hear that people are the greatest assets of every company, but they're only the greatest assets of a company if they're the right people. And that's what all of you do. All of you help people hire, and hiring managers and companies hire the right people that then become engaged and retained and become, individuals that help companies achieve their goals and objectives. So what I want to cover today are 10 subtle changes you can make to lead versus manage. Number one, I believe in rewarding and acknowledging efforts, attitude, and achievements. Leadership is about being generous with your time and your feedback and rewards when you're leading your team. When you consistently go out of your way to reward and acknowledge your team, they will reward you with better quality work. If you are generous with your praise and your support and your time, you establish yourself as a natural leader. People have to work for a manager, but they want to work for a leader, because a leader is someone who's inspiring them. Number two, and this is something I had to learn when I went into management, don't necessarily practice the golden rule. We all know the golden rule: treat others as you would like to be treated. In fact, I was taught that by a grandmother, and for years I was treating people the way I wanted to be treated, and it wasn't really working. And then I realized that effective leaders break this rule. And because they don't assume for a minute that everyone is just like them. They discover how every individual person wants to be trained, coached, and rewarded. They individualize their approach and reward for each member of their team. So rather than treating people the way you want to be treated, treat people the way that they want to be treated. Number three, you need to know when to celebrate and when to coach. If you saw my bookcase in my office, you would see a lot of books about coaches, great coaches. And I'm from Chicago. I'm a great Chicago Bears fan, but I love Vince Lombardi. I thought that he was a phenomenal coach, and I've learned much from his coaching style. When you're in doubt, celebrate. Celebrate every success, no matter how small. But if you mix up celebrating with coaching, it often comes across as a lack of appreciation. So set up opportunities to celebrate your team, even if it's a small celebration, because it's those small gestures of respect and celebration that build loyalty. But I want you to understand that when you're a leader, some of the best leaders are coaches. When you watch teams that are doing great, I'm recording this call just as the national championship happened. The national college championship was just played, and both Ohio State and Notre Dame have phenomenal coaches, phenomenal leadership. from their coaches. And now we're embarking on the Super Bowl, season, and everybody's watching the 4 teams that are in competition, and all 4 of them have great coaches. And they know how to inspire their team members. And so, I think that when you view yourself, if you're in management, that you're a leader and you're a coach, but you also celebrate whenever you can, because if you capture the hearts of your team, their mind and body will follow. And that's extremely important. They have to know that you care. Individuals that you lead and that you supervise and that are part of your team, all individuals want to know the answer to 3 questions. They're never going to ask a manager, a boss, an owner, a leader these questions, but this is what everyone wants to know. They want to know, number 1, can they trust you? And number 2, do you care about them? And number 3, when you tell them something, are you going to deliver what you told them? And so, again, once they realize they can trust you and once they realize that you care about them, it's amazing what they will achieve for you. And if you're trying to attain certain goals, what you want to do is inspire people that are going to help you attain the goals for their own reasons. Like, you need to really know what's important to the members of your team. What are they trying to achieve? And so you want to inspire them to achieve goals that not only help your company achieve goals and objectives, but also help the people that you supervise achieve what they're trying to achieve, both professionally and personally. Number 4, provide written expectations and standards. The most successful teams are the ones who are involved in setting goals and have committed to attaining those goals for their own reasons. Do you know what the people that work for you are trying to achieve? You want to provide each member of your team with written expectations and standards that will ensure that they attain the goals you have mutually set. Leadership is not something you do to people. It is something you do with people and for people. I know there's been occasions where I've talked about, we're gonna have a record year this year, and I'll roll out everything we're gonna do for someone, and then I see eyes rolling, and I realized they weren't hearing what I was doing for them. They were worried about what I was gonna do to them because we were raising goals. And that proved to me that I hadn't individualized it enough to show people how they were gonna benefit by these increased goals. Number 5, you've got to develop the natural talents and abilities of your sales team. Together identifying problems in your process and seek solutions. Because no matter what type of business you're in, if you're not selling your services or selling your products, if you're not out there sharing the brand and the core values and the missions of your company, you're not going to attract even the right internal employees. And so it's so important. And everybody that works for you has natural and they have transferable soft skills and hard skills. It's amazing how many soft skills sometimes are overlooked, and people are born and develop certain soft skills on their own. It's the ability to negotiate, or are they a team player or a great communicator? The hard skills are things that are normally taught in school or on the job type of training. But again, develop the natural talents. Don't be afraid to ask your team, is there any skill set that you're not using that you would like to be using? I asked that one time during a stay interview, and it was interesting. One of the people that worked for me said, I just love to write. I love to write. And I said, would you like to take over some of our blogs, some of our, social media postings? And we paid her for doing it. And she took it to a level that I never even dreamt possible. So be a strong advocate for the growth and development of your team. Individuals will take less money right now if they're being developed personally and professionally. You need to devote a team for training, coaching, and developing talent. And engage your team in decisions. They have answers. You'd be surprised. And I learn often the best things from sometimes my newest employees. And so, don't be afraid to listen to the ideas of others because they have answers. Number 6, hold yourself and your team accountable. Accountability is the ability to identify and prioritize actions to achieve goals that are set. Consistently review and measure your progress and the processes that you're using. Engage your team members in setting up how to measure accountability. When you establish accountability, your team will establish and attain goals that are relevant and realistic and attainable. And so that's why it's so important that they're involved as you're setting your goals. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something that you want done because they want to do it. not because it's something that you need done. And when you're addressing individuals, the whole human race has a tattoo on their forehead, what's in it for me? And if you can always address that, if you can always show the people that you're managing how they will benefit by what you're doing, that's when you get buy-in very quickly. You've got to have proven integrity. That's number 7. A team can never doubt the integrity of their leader. And I want to repeat that. A team can never doubt the integrity of their leader, especially when they're working under stress and pressure. It's so interesting. I've done training for LinkedIn Learning. I've done 18 courses for LinkedIn Learning, and I see a lot of the data that comes out from LinkedIn, and it's estimated that almost 70% of the people that quit, that leave, the expensive turnover cost that all companies are experiencing right now, so often the individual is leaving a person, not your company. They're just not able to function or grow under the manager that they have. The integrity of a leader dispels any doubt that would limit their ability to achieve high levels of success. They have to feel that you have their back, that you have a vested interest in them becoming successful. Wisdom is knowing the right path to take, and I think most of us know the right path to take, but integrity is taking it, and taking it on a consistent basis where people know you are going to always be working under the highest standard of integrity. Number 8 is communicate and listen effectively. So many people hear, but they just don't listen. It's so hard to find a good listener. Leaders talk and write simply, clear, and persuasively. And they must also listen to understand their team members, putting themselves in the shoes of this person. I don't think it's ever our job to agree or disagree or judge the people that we're leading. What we have to understand is put ourselves in their shoes, see the world through their eyes, and then we know what we have to do, to help them achieve the goals that they've set, along with the goals that we've mutually set. Conversations should never be interrupted by phone or text or emails, which just shows a lack of respect. If your actions inspire others to dream more and learn more and do more and become more, you're a leader. So some of you may be sitting there right now going, well, I am a leader. I'm a natural leader. But this is how you test your leadership. Do you inspire others to dream more and learn more and do more and become more? That is all that I do. When people ask me, why do I still train? It's because I know that the training that I provide helps people accomplish more and dream bigger and set up their financial thermostats and realize that there are no limits to what they can achieve. Number 9, you've got to reach a decision or take a risk sometime. There are situations when a decision must be reached or a risk must be taken, even when all the facts are not available. And a strong leader has to recognize when further analysis is just not profitable and when a decision must be reached. Real leaders are just ordinary people with extraordinary determination. When you look at the great leaders, that you know of or that you respect, you will notice that these changes I'm talking about are just come naturally to some people. They're just natural leadership. They're just natural, they have natural leadership ability. And number 10, and this is really important, this is something I had to teach myself because I was a single mom for 15 years and I was always very goal oriented, and I'm a baby boomer, so I was a workaholic, and I realized that I didn't want to be known as the person that worked the hardest or the longest hours or achieved the most. I wanted to basically hit the goals that I was trying to achieve, and I wanted the people that interacted with me to be better off for having met me. But I had to learn how to relax, and that is a skill set that is really important for someone who really wants to be a leader. When a team is under pressure, conflict can arise and performance is absolutely negatively impacted. So it's best handled by introducing a break, which could be a light remark or an opportunity to laugh. Timing is obviously the key factor. And a strong leader knows when the team needs stress relief, and they also know when they need stress relief. You've got to love your people more than you love your position. And I think that is such an important statement, that you've got to love your people more than your position. You've got to share with hiring managers that onboarding is not the job of HR. This is a major mistake that I see so many companies doing. Onboarding is a great opportunity for you to win the hearts and minds of the new employee. This is the magic moment when a new employee decides to stay engaged or becomes disengaged and possibly continues to interview. And this is going on more now than ever before, that individuals are accepting a job, but they're still interviewing if the job is not what they really see themselves doing long term, or it doesn't represent their next logical career move. If done correctly, onboarding makes an impression that stays with the new employee for the duration of their career. Onboarding also does not begin on the first day of employment, but rather immediately after an offer is accepted. Arranging a luncheon with a coworker or their new boss, or having a new employee fill out paperwork in advance begins to align them with your company. Having HR overwhelm them with a ton of material and information at a new employee orientation is not sufficient. They may not know where to park, the location of the orientation, or materials they should have brought to the orientation. I've seen companies provide outdated materials, a handwritten agenda with irrelevant topics, and told the new employee to work in a conference room because their office was not ready. I refer to this as death by orientation. New hires who experience a badly planned and executed orientation may conclude that your company is poorly managed and decide it was a mistake to accept the job offer. This is especially true of impressionable millennials and Gen Z, who now represent over 70% of the workforce. Nearly 1/3 of all new hires quit their jobs within the first 6 months. And this is higher than it's ever been. And I've been involved in recruiting for 30 years, and this is the highest I've ever seen it. And so the question becomes, how does your process encourage engagement and retention of new hires? I want you to consider the following. Almost 70% of new hires are more likely to stay if they experience great onboarding. The onboarding process begins with HR, but continues with stakeholders. Managers must continue to onboard new hires. The initial onboarding by HR is the first step in the journey that can take weeks or even months. New hires have about 90 days to prove themselves. The faster they feel welcome and prepared for their job, the faster they will be able to successfully contribute to the success of your company. And I think we have to view the onboarding of a new employee as almost like a courtship. Date, don't ever marry your employees. And what I mean by that, for those of you that are married, you understand what I just said. You know, when you're dating, you're trying to impress the other person, take them to dinner, you're dating, you're buying cards and flowers or whatever. And then once you get married, life takes over. And all of a sudden, just the pressures and the bills. And if you have children, that can really hurt the relationship. I believe that you've always got to be courting your employees, because your employees are either your army of recruiters. They're either bringing other people into your company because they love working for you and they love your company, or they're being courted by your competition. And so you've got to look at your employee referral program. If your employees are really happy working for you, you should not have a problem attracting talent, because most of your talent, at least 40% of your new hires, should be the result of employee referrals. And so you've got to look at that number. And if that's not your reality, then you've really got to ask yourself if you are courting your employees. And one of the most important processes right now are stay interviews. It's interesting because we no longer do performance reviews, because we realize that our employees dreaded performance reviews, the managers regretted performance reviews, everybody involved regretted the performance reviews, and no one was really looking forward to them. And too often interviews that you conduct, there's only two interviews. There's the employment interview and then the exit interview. A stay interview is an interview conducted with a current employee just to assess their job satisfaction, as well as why employers are staying with your company. Why are they happy? And there are several benefits of conducting stay interviews. They show your employees that you care about their thoughts and their feelings regarding their work. It helps you build trust with your employees. It increases the communication between you and your employees. And this is not something that should be done by the person's supervisor, because they might be guarded. And remember, 70% of people that leave a company leave their supervisor. And so you want this to be conducted by someone who might be one level above them, or even by a peer that maybe is more experienced than them. And often if you can do a stay interview outside of the office, have your employees they should be conducted once a quarter, just take somebody to lunch, because when they're not in your office, the communication is much more open. And it increases open, honest communication. And it allows for a mutual conversation, especially if there's a meal involved or a cup of coffee. And it gives you viable information, and shows you where you can make positive changes within the workplace to keep this person there. And it provides you with patterns and data related to your employee turnover rates, which is so important, so important. And so I think, and again, there are certain questions you want to ask during stay interviews that are very important. But basically, you're just asking, why do you stay with us? And if somebody's really happy, have them um, film a video on their phone why they love working with you. And when you're out there recruiting for people talent for your company, share the videos of your current employees telling people why it's a great place to work. Put those on your website. That should become part of your talent acquisition process. I also want to give you 7 other engagement and retention strategies, since engagement and retention is everybody's issue right now. Create performance objectives when writing job requisitions. Figure out how you're going to review the candidates you hire, and share them with the people that are interviewing with you. What's great about this is that the person that's going to manage this person has already determined how they're going to evaluate this person after 6 and 12 months. Everybody that's interacting with this person knows how they're going to be evaluated, and you share that with a potential hire. And when we've shared performance objectives with potential hires, they've said, I don't want to be evaluated on that. That's beneath me. And I go, wow, but that's one of the things you're going to be evaluated on. Well, then I'm not interested. Better you know that now than the person turns over. Define realistic, clear, and achievable goals. Number 3, establish an expectation of trust between managers, leaders, and employees. Number 4, ensure the teams understand their roles in the company's success. Everybody that works for you, I don't care what their title is, everybody wants to know that their job is important. And this isn't only for people that have middle management and above roles. A lot of the people that keep your company going are the people that are doing the day in, day out repetitive tasks that need to be done. And they need to know that they're contributing to your company's success. Everybody working for you needs to know how their role adds to your company's success. Encourage managers to show an interest in their employees' personal lives and development. Because to be honest with you, most people, their favorite topic to talk about is themselves. You should know everything about the people that work for you, their personal lives, their professional lives, what they're trying to achieve, because then you know what you have to do to inspire them and publicly congratulate people. When I was first in the workforce, if somebody just sent me a little note or put a little note on my desk, great job, that was enough for me. But now people want you to announce it on the intranet. They want once a week for people to be recognized for what they've done. Publicly congratulate. Everybody needs that boost, that acknowledgement of what they're doing. But if you're reprimanding, privately reprimand and design an improvement plan for employees who feel disengaged. If you're ever going to put somebody on probation, it's not enough to just put them on probation and say, we need to see a change. It's, we value you. Obviously, we're not hitting goals. This is the reason why you're on probation. And here's a plan of action to turn this around. And you're going to know very quickly. And then you meet with that person daily. You actually work with them on a daily basis to try to turn it around. They're either going to quit because maybe they quit and stayed, or they're going to do what you're telling them to do, and they're grateful because they're frustrated. They know they're not successful, but now you've given them a lifeline. When you assist with onboarding, nurture your team members, arrange for stay interviews, and implement engagement and retention strategies, you're going to improve engagement. You're going to decrease turnover, and you're going to enjoy the benefits of becoming a leader. And again, this is for anybody that would like someday to inspire others. And if you view yourself as a leader, you just do your job differently because you realize, and again, I think the biggest statement, one of the most important statements I made at the very beginning of this training is that managers have subordinates. Leaders have followers. When you look at it, I love to watch any kind of game, college or professional sports, and you see people painting their faces and dressing in the colors and waving the flags and so emotionally involved. How do you get your team to wave your flag and want to dress in your colors and want to do and just want to tell everybody about you and let everybody know how great it is to be a part of your team? That's when you know you are a very effective leader. And again, it's very simple. Look at how many employee referrals you're getting, and how many of your new hires are referrals from your current employees. That shows you if you are inspiring the people that work for you. But every one of you would be more successful if you adapted some of these leadership skills. Now, the reason I do these calls live for my tutor clients, and the reason I always do these live, is because I want to answer any questions you have. And the questions can be about anything. All of you are in the recruiting or talent acquisition profession, and so any questions that you have right now that you want to ask me, they don't have to be about leadership. This is why we do the calls live. That's why we answer questions. So you can ask me questions one of two ways. Look at the control panel on your right, and you will see the word attendees about half the way down. If you click on that, you're going to see your name. And when you called in, I gave you an access code, a telephone number, and a PIN number. If you put all three numbers in, you see that little hand above your name. If you click on that, the hand that's being raised, click on that, I can unmute your lines and you and I can talk. We can role play, we can do whatever you want. I've actually helped people put deals together that they thought they had lost, or somebody accepted a counter offer and I showed them how to work around it so that the individual ended up not taking the counter offer. Or if you don't want to talk to me one-on-one, you can go to the control panel and look at the, again, the gray bars, the third from the bottom says the word questions. And if you click on that, it's like a Word doc. You can type in any questions you have. Now, I will only use your first name. If you don't want me to use your first name, just put the word confidential anonymous and I will not use your first name. Now, I have a lot of people on this line, so let me get through the whole list. I don't see any hands raised, but I do see questions. Okay. I just realized I'm managing and not leading, and my people do resent me, but is it too late to turn things around? It's never too late to turn things around, ever. Again, all of you, the results you have right now, everything in your life, all the results you have right now, your success personally, your success professionally, where you are at work, what you're willing to achieve right now, those are all based on the decisions you've made up until today. What I would love is for this to be a life-changing training event for you. And if you want different results, you have to do two things. You have to make different decisions and take different actions. Because I see people all the time wanting different results, but they keep doing things the same way. You can't do things the same way. You can't manage the same way. You can't treat people like subordinates and then expect them to be inspired by you. And it sounds like that's where you're at. And what I would do on the first of the month, I would say that what I realized is that I have to learn some leadership skills, because what I would like to do is I would like to be more inspirational. I would like to learn how to inspire you, and I want to know what all of you are trying to achieve this year, and ask your people to share some of their goals with you. Talk to them, start doing sting interviews. They will sense it pretty quickly, and people will not judge you by what you say. They're going to judge you by what you do. So if you truly want to start inspiring people, let them know that you're taking some leadership training. You want to better, you want them to view you as a leader versus a manager. Your goal is to inspire them, and I want to do everything I can, to do that for you. Let me know what you're trying to achieve and take a vested interest in them, and then show them by your actions that you're changing. But again, if you want something different, you have to make different decisions and take different actions. People judge you by what they see you do, not what they see you say. And if you want to know what your priorities are, just look where you spend your time and where you spend your money, because that's where your priorities are. Where we spend our time and where we spend our money are our priorities. If you want to become a better leader, you've got to work at it. It's something that you need to, but don't try to change everything at once. Develop one new leadership skill every month for the rest of this year. And by the end of the year, your people will be very inspired, and you're going to feel better because you're going to be accomplishing things. Because again, people are going to help you accomplish your goals for their own reasons, because now you're listening to them. Let's see. Where in the tutor can I get information on dealing with a problem employee? There are several. If you go into the library of the tutor, not into the core programs in the tutor, but go in the library under management, and you're going to see there's probably 25 programs, and many of those programs are about how do you resolve issues and solve problems. And if you don't see an answer in any of those programs, if you've got something specific that you're dealing with, just, send us a message. You got instant messaging. You got access to my team. We support our tutors. We support our training programs. And so if you want me to do a program specifically addressing the type of challenge you have, just send that to my team, because all the topics of everything I do live every month comes from my tutor clients. So if you want me to train on something specific, just call my office, instant message us, through the tutor, or send us information on what you want. But if you want spot training, the library can give you spot training. There's over 200 webinars that were recorded that you can listen to at any given moment in time. In addition to taking the comprehensive tutor courses, you can go to the library. Okay, this is from Sylvia. I'm having a problem with myself. I've become very negative. I feel that people are out for themselves and that nobody cares about anything. And I find myself feeling that way too. And I manage a team of over 45 people. So how do I do an attitude adjustment? Wow, I'll tell you what, Sylvia, number one, I give you credit for putting your name down. Most people would put anonymous. And the first step is realizing that you become negative, and it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to change, because there's probably a lot of things that added, to you, starting to become negative. And you're right. People, there's a tendency out there to be more negative than there is to be positive. And it starts with affirmations, and it starts with, talking to yourself. And so what I would do to try to change that is every morning when you wake up, I would write down the 5 things you're grateful for. What are 5 things in your life that you're grateful for? And write that down every single day. When you wake up, make sure that you're getting enough rest. A lot of people are just stressed out because they're not getting enough rest. So make sure you're getting a good night's sleep and wake up and talk about 5 things that you're grateful for. And at the end of every day, write down what went right, because so many things can go wrong. And if you find yourself blaming things, what I teach people is every time you're pointing the finger at something else or someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. We can't change what other people do or say. We can't change the economy. We can't change a lot. But what we have 100% control over is how we choose to react. And as a leader, you have to react in a positive manner. And rather than get bogged down by challenges and problems, instantly, when there's a problem or something that hits you, ask yourself one question first. Can I solve this? Can I resolve this? Or is this something that is, oh, I can't even resolve it? Because you don't want to waste your time worried and complaining about things you have no control over. If you can resolve it, then instantly turn to possible solutions. Instantly take your attention from the problem into solutions. And you'll find that that just relieves a lot. And if there's a problem, you might even go to some of your team members and ask them for input on how you guys can solve something. But it really does start with positive affirmations every morning. Just think about what you're grateful for, what you're grateful for, and if you're at the point where you feel like you're really going down a dark, deep hole and you're really having issues, you might go see someone and talk to a professional. Because I know many people, since COVID, you've got more people that are suffering from anxiety and depression, and there is medication that can help you, and talking to a professional can sometimes help you. So I would start out trying to do it on your own and do positive affirmations. Also, find an accountability partner, find someone else who's trying to achieve great things, and look at the 5 people you surround yourself with. Surround the people that are the closest to you, have the biggest impact on your life. And so are they negative or positive? Find positive people that are more successful than you, because they will lift you up. And so try to identify who's the most successful banker or real estate person or insurance person. Who are people that are you just like to be around them because they're positive. That also helps you a lot, because positive people don't want to be around negative people, and they'll just bring you up, and you'll learn from them. You will learn from them. And I tell you what, I do a lot in my training program about attitude, because I think attitude has the biggest impact on the success that most people achieve. Because if you think you can do something or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. Your success really depends probably 10% on what happens to you and 90% on how you react to it. And so attitude really is impactful. And if you want to be a successful leader, you have got to be the most positive person around. We don't have the luxury of being negative. If you follow me on LinkedIn, which I would suggest that most of you do, because I've posted this call on LinkedIn. I know all my tutor clients follow me on LinkedIn, but all my posts are positive. I'm very careful that I'm always just trying to help somebody else improve their success. Now, if any of you enjoyed this training and you're not one of our current clients, I would really encourage you to learn more about our tutor products. You can go to our website, which is goodasgoldtraining.com, and go to, training products, and all our tutors are listed with the syllabus and everything is there. Or if you want to discuss your training needs with one of our experts, if you just call our office, we can get you a time to speak with somebody that works for me, or even myself. If you'd like to talk to me directly about some of your challenges, I would love to talk to you. You can call our office at 219-663-9609. So if you'd like to set up a time to talk to one of our experts or to talk to me about your training challenges and some of the obstacles that you're facing, we might be your solution, we might not be, but the conversation will be worth your time because we'll focus on your priorities. If you call us, the time you spend with us talking will definitely benefit you. So I hope you enjoyed this training. Thanks for all my tutor clients for showing up today. And again, if any of you that are my tutor clients, you think of something else you need to know, or you have topics for the month of February, we're just starting now to write the programs. So please send us any topics you'd like to see me cover in the month of February. Thanks, everybody. You have a great day.